Hello, English learners. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Sarah, and today we're going to dive into powerful, advanced English expressions that you can use naturally in your daily life, in real conversations, with real people. These are the kinds of expressions that help you sound more precise, more confident, more emotionally intelligent, and more articulate in every situation. And the more you practice them, the easier it becomes to use these advanced phrases automatically whenever you speak. Before we begin, I want to remind you that we upload English learning videos every single day, so make sure you subscribe and stay with us so you never miss a lesson. Now, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let's begin our journey into these advanced everyday English expressions. When we talk about advanced English, we're not only talking about difficult vocabulary or complicated grammar. We're talking about language that feels natural, expressive, emotionally intelligent, and flexible enough to use in many daily situations. As you move toward a more advanced level, your goal becomes less about remembering long words and more about choosing the right expression at the right moment. And today, we're going to explore the kinds of expressions that help you show confidence, clarity, and maturity in your communication. So, as we begin, let your mind settle. Imagine that we're simply having a conversation together, and I'm guiding you through language that can shape the way you speak, think, and interact with others. Let's start with one of the most powerful things advanced speakers do. They express subtle meaning. They don't just say what happened. They explain how they feel about it, why it matters, and what they might do next. They use phrases like, "I'm inclined to think," or "it struck me that," to sound thoughtful and reflective. Try saying this with me slowly. I'm inclined to think things will work out. Feel how calm and confident it sounds. Now try this one. It struck me that I've been overthinking the situation. These expressions help you sound more insightful, like someone who has taken time to understand their own thoughts. Now, imagine you're at work or school, and someone asks for your opinion about a plan. Instead of saying, "I think it's good," you can say, "I'm leaning toward supporting this idea." Or, "From my perspective, it holds a lot of potential." These phrases give your speech more depth and show that you can express nuance. Let's practice this together. Repeat after me. From my perspective, it holds a lot of potential. Now repeat. I'm leaning toward supporting this idea. Each time you say these expressions out loud, your brain gets more comfortable using them automatically in your daily conversations. Another important skill in advanced English is the ability to show polite disagreement. You want to sound honest but still respectful. Instead of saying, "I disagree," you can say, "I see where you're coming from, but I have a slightly different take on this," or "I understand your point, though I'm not entirely convinced." These expressions soften your message while keeping your meaning clear. Let's try them together. Say, "I see where you're coming from, but I have a slightly different take on this." Feel how balanced it sounds, clear, but not rude. Now try, "I understand your point, though I'm not entirely convinced." These phrases help you participate in conversations without creating tension. Imagine you're talking with a friend who made a decision you don't fully agree with. Instead of saying, "That's wrong," you could use a more advanced, sensitive expression like, I can appreciate your choice, though I might have approached it differently. This helps you stay supportive while still sharing your perspective. Try saying it with me slowly. I can appreciate your choice, though I might have approached it differently. Practicing these kinds of sentences trains your mind to speak with emotional intelligence, something that advanced speakers use constantly in real life. Now, let's explore expressions you can use when you want to recommend or suggest something in a natural, advanced way. Instead of saying you should try, you could say you might want to consider, or it could be worth exploring. These give your speech a gentle, helpful tone. Imagine a friend is stressed about work. Instead of saying you should relax, you could say, you might want to consider taking a short break to clear your mind. Or, it could be worth exploring some new ways to manage your schedule. Let's practice these together. Repeat after me. You might want to consider taking a short break. And now, it could be worth exploring some new ways to manage your schedule. These phrases make you sound supportive without being too direct or forceful. Advanced English also gives you tools to express uncertainty without sounding confused or weak. Instead of saying, I don't know, you can say, I'm not entirely sure, but, or I'll need a moment to think this through. These expressions show confidence and calm, even when you don't have the answer yet. Try practicing this with me. I'm not entirely sure, but I can look into it. And now, I'll need a moment to think this through. These kinds of expressions are especially helpful in professional or academic conversations where people expect thoughtful responses. Let's move into expressions that help you describe emotional experiences in a more sophisticated way. Instead of saying, I was very surprised, you can say, I was taken aback. Instead of, I was very happy, you might say, I was genuinely delighted. Instead of, I was confused, you can say, I was a bit puzzled by what happened. These small changes add richness to your language. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. I was taken aback. Now say, I was genuinely delighted. And next, I was a bit puzzled by what happened. The more you practice them, the more natural they become. And soon you'll start using them automatically whenever the situation fits. Imagine you're telling someone about a conversation you had, and you want to express that something surprised you in a deep, meaningful way. You could say, her reaction caught me off guard. Try saying it out loud now. Her reaction caught me off guard. Or maybe you want to describe someone who impressed you. Instead of, he was very smart, you can say, he came across as remarkably insightful. Let's practice that. He came across as remarkably insightful. These expressions give your storytelling a more advanced and natural flow, making your English sound more expressive and engaging. Let's create a short practice dialogue using these advanced expressions so you can feel how they work together. Imagine someone asks you, how did your meeting go today? You might respond, it went better than expected. I was actually taken aback by how open everyone was to new ideas. Then they ask, do you agree with the new plan? You could reply, I see where they're coming from, though I'm not entirely convinced. Still, from my perspective, it holds a lot of potential. Practicing whole conversations like this helps you connect expressions together smoothly, just like a fluent speaker. Now, let's do another short practice exercise. I'm going to say a simple sentence, and you repeat a more advanced version of it after me. Instead of, "I'm not sure," say, "I'm not entirely certain yet." Instead of, "I don't understand," say, "I'm having a bit of trouble wrapping my head around this." Instead of, "It's a good idea," say, "It seems like a promising approach." Let's practice these one by one. Repeat after me. I'm not entirely certain yet. Now, I'm having a bit of trouble wrapping my head around this. And now, it seems like a promising approach. These phrases help you switch from simple language to advanced, natural English effortlessly. Before we continue, take a moment to notice how your mind is absorbing these expressions. You're not just learning vocabulary, you're learning rhythm, tone, emotional intelligence, clarity, and confidence. With each example, your speaking muscles become stronger and your ability to express yourself grows deeper. This is how advanced English becomes a natural part of your daily life, through slow, mindful practice, one phrase at a time. As you continue developing advanced English, you start to notice how small changes in your sentences can completely transform the feeling of your message. Advanced speakers pay attention to tone, intention, and the emotional weight of their words. Instead of reacting quickly, they choose expressions that show thoughtfulness and maturity. For example, when someone shares a problem with you, you don't simply say, "That's difficult." You can say, "That must have been quite a lot to take in." This expression acknowledges emotional impact and shows genuine empathy. Let's practice it slowly together so you can feel the softness and warmth behind it. Repeat after me. That must have been quite a lot to take in. When you use this in daily life, people immediately sense your emotional intelligence, and it creates deeper, more meaningful communication. Imagine you're supporting a friend who has had a stressful day. Instead of repeating common phrases like, "I understand," you might say, "I can imagine how overwhelming that must have felt." Or, "It sounds like you've been carrying a lot on your shoulders." These expressions allow you to connect with others on a deeper level. Try these with me now. I can imagine how overwhelming that must have felt. And repeat. It sounds like you've been carrying a lot on your shoulders. These are what advanced speakers use to show that they truly listen and understand, not just respond. Another important part of advanced English is expressing decisions or preferences in a polished and natural way. Instead of saying, "I decided," you can use softer and more reflective expressions like, "I've come to realize that," or "I've reached the conclusion that." These expressions show thoughtful consideration. Imagine you've been thinking about changing your job, and someone asks about it. You can say, "I've come to realize that I need a work environment that aligns better with my values." Or, "I've reached the conclusion that it's time for a new chapter." Let's practice these together. Repeat after me. I've come to realize that I need a work environment that aligns better with my values. And now, I've reached the conclusion that it's time for a new chapter. These kinds of expressions help you speak with clarity and intention in real-life conversations. Sometimes you need to express advanced gratitude or appreciation. A simple thanks works, but advanced English allows you to express deeper meaning. Instead of saying thank you can say, I genuinely appreciate your support, or that means more to me than you know. These expressions carry emotional weight and make your gratitude sound sincere. Let's practice them slowly together. Repeat, I genuinely appreciate your support. Now say, that means more to me than you know. These phrases are perfect for personal conversations, work relationships, or any moment where you want to express deeper appreciation. Now let's explore expressions that help you describe your thoughts in a more nuanced way. Instead of saying, I think, you can use expressions like, it appears to me that, or my impression is that, or what stands out to me is. These phrases help your speech sound thoughtful and analytical. For example, imagine you're describing a movie you watched. You might say, it appears to me that the director wanted to highlight the complexity of human relationships. Or when giving feedback to a colleague, you might say, my impression is that the team responded well to your approach. Try these with me. Repeat. It appears to me that the director wanted to highlight the complexity of human relationships. And now, my impression is that the team responded well to your approach. These expressions help you express opinions with confidence and clarity. Let's create a practice conversation where you can use these advanced expressions in context. Imagine someone asks, what do you think about the new project? Instead of answering simply, you could say, it appears to me that the project has a lot of potential, though there are still a few areas we need to clarify. Then they ask, how do you feel about joining the team? You could reply, I've come to realize that I work best in environments where communication is open and supportive, so I'm inclined to say yes. This kind of response shows depth, reflection, and advanced communication skills. Next, let's look at expressions you can use when you want to soften your language. Advanced speakers often soften their tone to sound more polite, respectful, or emotionally aware. For example, instead of saying you're wrong, you might say, I'm not entirely sure I see it that way. Or, I may be mistaken, but that's not how I understood it. These expressions create space for conversation instead of conflict. Let's practice them now. Repeat, I'm not entirely sure I see it that way. And now, I may be mistaken, but that's not how I understood it. Imagine you're in a difficult conversation with someone who is upset. Instead of saying, calm down, which can sound rude, you could say, let's take a moment to breathe and think this through together. This advanced expression reduces tension and helps both people feel more grounded. Try repeating it with me slowly. Let's take a moment to breathe and think this through together. With expressions like these, you become someone others feel safe talking to. Another useful skill for advanced English speakers is being able to express hesitation or caution. Instead of saying, I don't want to decide yet, you might say, I'd prefer to approach this with a bit more caution. Or, I'd like to take some time to reflect before making a decision. These expressions signal maturity and thoughtfulness. Practice them with me now. Repeat. I'd prefer to approach this with a bit more caution. And now, I'd like to take some time to reflect before making a decision. Let's connect these advanced expressions into a real-life scenario. Imagine someone invites you to an event you're unsure about. You could say, "I really appreciate the invitation. I'd like to take a bit of time to think it through before giving you a definite answer." This sounds warm, respectful, and confident. Try saying it now. "I really appreciate the invitation. I'd like to take a bit of time to think it through before giving you a definite answer." Now let's practice transforming simple sentences into advanced expressions. I'll give you the simple version, and you repeat the advanced version after me. Instead of "I don't know," say "I'm not entirely sure yet." Instead of "I need help," say "I could use a bit of guidance here." Instead of "I'm tired," say "I'm feeling a little drained today." Practice with me now. "I'm not entirely sure yet." And now, "I could use a bit of guidance here." Finally, "I'm feeling a little drained today." These small upgrades make your English sound more expressive and more natural at the same time. Now imagine you're explaining something difficult to someone who's struggling to understand. Instead of saying "it's easy," which can sound dismissive, you can say, "It might take a moment to get used to, but I'm confident you'll get the hang of it." This expression is supportive and encouraging. Repeat after me. "It might take a moment to get used to, but I'm confident you'll get the hang of it." This is a great example of how advanced English can help you build trust and connection. Advanced English also involves acknowledging others' efforts and experiences. Instead of saying "good job," you can say "you handled that remarkably well," or "I admire the way you approached that situation." These kinds of compliments sound more genuine and thoughtful. Let's practice them together. Repeat, "You handled that remarkably well." And now, "I admire the way you approached that situation." These expressions help you give meaningful feedback in both personal and professional conversations. Before we end this section, take a moment to reflect on how these expressions feel when you speak them out loud. Notice the calmness, the clarity, the maturity. These expressions are not just words. They're habits of communication that make your English sound effortless and authentic. The more you practice, the more natural they will become. And soon you'll find yourself using them automatically, without thinking twice. As you continue strengthening your advanced English, one of the most valuable skills you can develop is the ability to express your thoughts with precision, especially when the situation feels delicate or emotionally complex. Advanced speakers don't rely on simple phrases like "I'm upset" or "I'm happy." Instead, they use expressions that capture subtle shades of feeling. For example, instead of saying "I was angry," you might say, "I found myself feeling quite taken aback by what happened." Or instead of saying "I was sad," you could express it as, "I felt a heaviness I couldn't quite shake." These expressions don't just state an emotion, they paint a picture of that emotion. Try practicing them with me now. Say, "I found myself feeling quite taken aback." And now, "I felt a heaviness I couldn't quite shake." These are the types of expressions that bring your English to life. Imagine you're reflecting on your day and something didn't go as expected. Instead of the basic "it was bad," you could say, "It didn't unfold the way I had anticipated." This sounds thoughtful and calm. Or if something went better than you expected, you might say, "It turned out far more positively than I had imagined." Let's practice those together. Repeat. It didn't unfold the way I had anticipated, and now it turned out far more positively than I had imagined. These expressions help you show emotional depth and reflective thinking. Another powerful element of advanced English is expressing a subtle shift in your mindset or perspective. Rather than saying, "I changed my mind," you could say, "I've had a slight change of heart," or "I've started to see things from a different angle." Imagine you're talking to a friend about a decision you were unsure about. You might say, "After giving it some thought, I've started to see things from a different angle." Try repeating it now. "I've started to see things from a different angle." These small upgrades make your communication more mature and thoughtful. Now let's explore how advanced speakers express uncertainty without sounding unsure of themselves. Instead of saying "maybe," you can say, "There's a possibility that," or "I'm open to the idea, though I haven't fully committed yet." For example, if someone asks whether you will join an event, you could say, "There's a possibility I'll be there. I'm still figuring out a few things." This sounds confident and balanced. Practice it with me. "There's a possibility I'll be there." And now, "I'm open to the idea, though I haven't fully committed yet." These expressions give your uncertainty a graceful, natural tone. Let's imagine a conversation at work or school where you want to express your thoughts clearly without sounding too forceful. Instead of saying, "This is my idea," you can say, "One possibility worth considering is," or "Something that comes to mind is." These phrases open the conversation gently while still making your contribution meaningful. Try repeating these with me now. "One possibility worth considering is," and "something that comes to mind is." These expressions make you sound collaborative and thoughtful. Sometimes in daily life, you need to reassure someone who feels uncertain or worried. Instead of saying, "Don't worry," which can feel too simple, you might say, "You're handling this better than you think," or "It's completely understandable to feel this way." These expressions show emotional support and empathy. Practice them with me. "You're handling this better than you think," and "It's completely understandable to feel this way." These phrases help you build deeper connections with the people around you. Now let's practice transforming simple daily sentences into advanced expressions. Instead of "I'm busy," say, "I'm juggling quite a few things at the moment." Instead of "I'm stressed," say, "I've been feeling a bit stretched lately." Instead of "I'll try," say, "I'll do my best to make it happen." Repeat after me. "I'm juggling quite a few things at the moment." Now, "I've been feeling a bit stretched lately." And finally, "I'll do my best to make it happen." These small changes make your English sound polished and fluent. Imagine you're apologizing for a misunderstanding. Instead of saying, "Sorry, I didn't get it," you might say, "I must have misunderstood your point earlier," or "I may have misinterpreted what you meant." These expressions show responsibility and clarity. Try practicing them now. "I must have misunderstood your point earlier," and "I may have misinterpreted what you meant." Using expressions like these helps you come across as respectful and emotionally aware. Good communication also requires knowing how to express reassurance and calmness in stressful situations. When someone is nervous about an upcoming interview or presentation, you can say, "You're more prepared than you realize," or "You've put in the work. Now trust yourself." Let's practice these together. Repeat, "You're more prepared than you realize." And now, "You've put in the work. Now trust yourself." These are the kinds of supportive, advanced expressions that make your English feel human and heartfelt. Now imagine you want to compliment someone in a more advanced and meaningful way. Instead of, "You're smart," try saying, "You have a remarkable ability to understand things quickly." Instead of "You're kind," say, "Your kindness truly leaves an impression." These expressions sound warm, genuine, and expressive. Try practicing them. "You have a remarkable ability to understand things quickly." And "Your kindness truly leaves an impression." These are perfect for everyday interactions when you want to show sincere appreciation. Before moving forward, let's do one more practice exercise. I'll give you a basic sentence, and you'll say the more advanced version after me. Instead of "I'm confused," say, "I'm having a little trouble piecing this together." Instead of "I'm excited," say, "I'm genuinely looking forward to this." Instead of "It's okay," say, "It's completely manageable." Repeat with me now, "I'm having a little trouble piecing this together." And "I'm genuinely looking forward to this." Finally, "It's completely manageable." When you practice these expressions out loud, you train yourself to speak with natural sophistication. Take a deep breath and allow these expressions to settle into your mind. Every sentence you speak today is helping you move closer to the advanced English speaker you want to become. With every repetition, you're building confidence, improving clarity, and developing the ability to express yourself in ways that feel elegant, natural, and honest. This is the heart of advanced communication, a balance of emotion, intelligence, and thoughtful expression. When you reach a more advanced level of English, one of the biggest changes you'll notice is the way you describe your thoughts and reactions with more subtlety. Instead of saying, "I was surprised," you might use an expression like, "I didn't see that coming at all," or "That completely caught me off guard." These expressions convey not just the surprise, but also the immediacy and intensity of the moment. Try saying them with me now. "I didn't see that coming at all." And now, "That completely caught me off guard." These phrases are perfect for real conversations because they bring emotion and vividness into your speech. Imagine you're talking to a coworker or a friend who asks how a difficult situation went. Instead of answering simply, you might say, "It was challenging at first, but eventually things fell into place." This expression shows progress and resolution. Or if something finally worked out after effort, you can say, "Everything aligned just in time." Repeat after me. "Eventually things fell into place." And now, "Everything aligned just in time." These kinds of expressions give your speech the natural smoothness of a fluent speaker. Now let's explore advanced ways to talk about your thoughts, especially when you've been reflecting or processing something internally. Instead of saying, "I thought about it," you can say, "I spent some time reflecting on it," or "I've been weighing my options carefully." Imagine someone asks you if you plan to make a change in your life. You could say, I've been weighing my options carefully, and I'm starting to feel more confident about the direction I want to take. Practice it with me now. I've been weighing my options carefully. This kind of expression shows depth and emotional awareness, two essential qualities of advanced communication. Sometimes you want to express that you're not fully convinced about something, but you want to say it politely. Instead of, I doubt it, you can say, I'm not entirely persuaded just yet. Or, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. These are gentle but clear expressions. Try repeating them now. I'm not entirely persuaded just yet. And, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. These phrases work beautifully in discussions where you want to express uncertainty while still being respectful. There will also be times when you want to express strong agreement in a more advanced way. Instead of saying, I agree, you can say, I'm completely on board with that. Or, that resonates with me. Or even, I couldn't agree more, it reflects exactly how I feel. Try practicing these. I'm completely on board with that. And now, that resonates with me. These expressions help you connect with people instantly because they feel sincere and emotionally intelligent. Picture a situation where someone gives you great news. Instead of reacting with a simple, that's good, you might say, that's genuinely wonderful to hear. Or, I'm really glad things are coming together for you. These expressions uplift the conversation and make your reactions feel heartfelt. Try repeating them now. That's genuinely wonderful to hear. And, I'm really glad things are coming together for you. When you use these expressions, people feel seen, heard, and supported. Let's practice turning simple, everyday conversations into advanced ones. Imagine someone asks, "How was your weekend?" Instead of answering with, "It was fine," you can say, "It was exactly what I needed, a bit of rest and some time to reset." Or imagine someone asks how your day is going. Instead of saying, "Good," you might say, "It's been surprisingly smooth so far." Repeat after me. It was exactly what I needed, a bit of rest and some time to reset. Now try. It's been surprisingly smooth so far. These expressions reflect maturity and emotional awareness. Advanced English also includes expressing interest in a more meaningful way. Instead of saying, "Tell me more," you can say, "I'd love to hear more about that." Or, "That really piques my curiosity." Practice these with me. I'd love to hear more about that. And, "That really piques my curiosity." These expressions are perfect for conversations where you want to show genuine engagement. There are also moments in life when you want to express disappointment in a sensitive way. Instead of saying, "I'm upset," you might say, "I was hoping for a different outcome." Or, "It left me feeling a little unsettled." Try repeating these now. I was hoping for a different outcome. And, "It left me feeling a little unsettled." These expressions help you communicate your emotions without sounding harsh or dramatic. Now imagine you're reflecting on personal growth. Instead of saying, "I improved," try saying, "I've noticed real progress in myself lately." Or, "I can see how far I've come." These expressions allow you to talk about yourself with confidence while still staying humble. Repeat them with me. I've noticed real progress in myself lately. And, I can see how far I've come. These sentences are powerful in conversations about self-development or new habits. Let's work on more practice by transforming simple sentences into advanced expressions. Instead of, I'm thinking about it, you can say, I'm giving it some thoughtful consideration. Instead of, I want to try, say, I'm eager to explore that possibility. Instead of, it's difficult, say, it's proving to be quite a challenge. Practice with me. I'm giving it some thoughtful consideration. Now, I'm eager to explore that possibility. And it's proving to be quite a challenge. These refined versions sound polished and natural in professional and personal conversations. Now imagine someone helped you with something important. Instead of saying, thanks for your help, you might say, I truly appreciate the time and effort you put into this, or your support made a meaningful difference. Repeat with me now. I truly appreciate the time and effort you put into this, and your support made a meaningful difference. These expressions show gratitude in a deep and genuine way. When you're talking about future plans in advanced English, you can express your intentions with clarity and confidence. Instead of saying, I hope it works, you might say, I'm optimistic about how this will turn out. Or, I'm hopeful that this direction will lead to something positive. Try repeating these. I'm optimistic about how this will turn out. And I'm hopeful that this direction will lead to something positive. These are perfect expressions for situations where you're looking ahead with confidence. As you keep practicing, notice how your English begins to feel more expressive and more natural. You're not simply learning vocabulary, you're learning how to communicate with precision, confidence, and emotional depth. These expressions help you create conversations that flow effortlessly, conversations that connect you with others, and conversations that reflect who you truly are. And the more you allow yourself to practice them out loud, the more automatic and instinctive they will become. As you continue strengthening your advanced English, one thing becomes clear. Fluent speakers don't just communicate information, they communicate intention, feeling, perspective, and nuance. They choose expressions that create connection and clarity. For instance, instead of saying, I don't like it, a more advanced way is, it doesn't quite sit right with me. This expression softens the message while still expressing your true feelings. Try repeating it now. It doesn't quite sit right with me. Another example is, instead of saying I'm okay with it, you can say I'm comfortable with that arrangement. Let's practice that too. I'm comfortable with that arrangement. These expressions help you sound thoughtful rather than blunt. Imagine a friend asks if you enjoyed a movie, but you didn't really connect with it. Instead of saying, it was boring, you might say, it didn't fully capture my interest, or I struggled to stay engaged. These expressions sound more natural and emotionally intelligent. Try repeating them with me. It didn't fully capture my interest. And I struggled to stay engaged. These kinds of sentences bring maturity and clarity to your conversations. Now let's explore how to express doubt or hesitation in a calm, advanced way. Instead of saying, I'm not sure about that, you could say, I have a few reservations, or I'm hesitant to jump to conclusions. These expressions show thoughtful caution. Try practicing them now. I have a few reservations, and I'm hesitant to jump to conclusions. These phrases help you navigate conversations where uncertainty needs to be expressed politely and professionally. There will also be moments when you want to show strong approval, but without sounding too simple or enthusiastic. Instead of saying, "That's great," you might say, "That's truly impressive." Or, "I'm genuinely delighted to hear that." Repeat these expressions with me. That's truly impressive. And now, I'm genuinely delighted to hear that. These expressions make your reactions richer and more heartfelt. Let's explore advanced ways to talk about personal challenges. Instead of saying, "I'm having a problem," you might say, "I'm facing a bit of a setback." Or, "This has been testing my patience lately." These expressions communicate struggle without sounding overly dramatic. Try repeating them after me. "I'm facing a bit of a setback." And, "This has been testing my patience lately." When you use phrases like these, people immediately understand the seriousness of the situation while still feeling your calmness. Imagine someone asks you how you've been managing your workload. Instead of saying, "I'm stressed," you might say, "I've been stretched pretty thin lately." Or, "It's been a demanding week, but I'm navigating it step by step." Let's practice these. "I've been stretched pretty thin lately." And, "I'm navigating it step by step." These expressions show resilience and emotional clarity, which are essential in advanced communication. Another important part of advanced English is the ability to clarify misunderstandings smoothly. Instead of saying, "That's not what I meant," you can say, "Let me rephrase that to make it clearer." Or, "I may not have expressed that as clearly as I intended." Repeat these with me. "Let me rephrase that to make it clearer." And, "I may not have expressed that as clearly as I intended." These expressions help you correct yourself gracefully without sounding defensive. Now let's practice advanced ways of talking about progress, especially when something improves slowly over time. Instead of saying, "I'm getting better," you might say, "I'm gradually finding my rhythm." Or, "Little by little, things are falling into place." Try these with me now. "I'm gradually finding my rhythm." And, "Little by little, things are falling into place." These are perfect expressions for daily conversations, especially when people ask about your personal or professional journey. Imagine someone asks how your new habit or routine is going. Instead of responding with, "It's okay," try saying, "I'm beginning to see meaningful changes." Or, "I'm noticing small improvements each day." Practice these now. "I'm beginning to see meaningful changes." And, "I'm noticing small improvements each day." These expressions help you describe your progress in a more positive and advanced way. Let's do a transformation exercise to help train your brain to switch from basic to advanced expressions. Instead of saying, "I don't agree," say, "I'm not entirely aligned with that perspective." Instead of, "I don't care," say, "It doesn't make much difference to me either way." Instead of, "I forgot," say, "It completely slipped my mind." Repeat them with me now. "I'm not entirely aligned with that perspective." And, "It doesn't make much difference to me either way." Finally, "It completely slipped my mind." These transformations help your speech sound natural, thoughtful, and confident. There are also moments when you want to express admiration for someone. Instead of saying, "You're good at this," you can say, "You have an incredible talent for this," Or, your skill really stands out. Practice these with me. You have an incredible talent for this. And, your skill really stands out. These expressions leave a much stronger impact and sound more sincere. Another important part of advanced English is talking about future possibilities. Instead of saying, maybe I will, you might say, I'm considering the possibility, or I'm open to exploring that option. Repeat them after me. I'm considering the possibility, and I'm open to exploring that option. These phrases help you express openness without committing too early. Let's imagine a conversation where you want to gently challenge someone's idea. Instead of saying, that won't work, you can say, I'm not entirely convinced that approach will lead to the outcome we want. This expresses disagreement in a diplomatic and advanced way. Try repeating it now. I'm not entirely convinced that approach will lead to the outcome we want. Before we pause here, take a moment to breathe and notice how much more natural these expressions are beginning to feel. Advanced English is not about memorizing difficult vocabulary. It's about speaking with intention, emotion, clarity, and confidence. Every time you practice these expressions aloud, you strengthen the connection between your thoughts and your spoken language. And slowly, these expressions begin to flow effortlessly whenever you need them. As you continue becoming more comfortable with advanced English, one of the most powerful skills you develop is the ability to express complexity in a calm and natural way. Instead of using flat or straightforward sentences, you learn how to shape your message so it reflects not only what happened, but how it felt, what you learned, and what you took away from the experience. For example, instead of saying, it was difficult, you can say, it pushed me out of my comfort zone in a meaningful way. Or, it challenged me in ways I didn't expect, but I'm grateful for the growth. Try repeating these now. It pushed me out of my comfort zone in a meaningful way. And, it challenged me in ways I didn't expect, but I'm grateful for the growth. These expressions help you communicate maturity and self-awareness. Imagine someone asks how you handled a stressful situation. Instead of replying with a simple, I managed, you might say, I handled it as best as I could under the circumstances. Or I navigated it step by step, even when it felt overwhelming. These versions add emotional honesty and depth without sounding dramatic. Practice with me. I handled it as best as I could under the circumstances. And now, I navigated it step by step. When you speak like this, people immediately understand your experience more deeply. Let's explore advanced expressions you can use when you want to encourage someone gently. Instead of saying, you can do it, you could say, I genuinely believe you have what it takes to succeed. Instead of don't give up, you might say, stay with it. Your effort is building something meaningful. Try repeating them with me. I genuinely believe you have what it takes to succeed. And your effort is building something meaningful. These expressions help you inspire others in a more heartfelt way. Now imagine you're discussing a decision that took you a long time to make. Instead of saying, it was hard to choose, you could say, I had to take my time to weigh the implications carefully. Or, I wanted to make sure the decision aligned with what truly matters to me. Repeat these expressions with me. I had to take my time to weigh the implications carefully, and I wanted to make sure the decision aligned with what truly matters to me. These are advanced ways to express thoughtfulness and intention. In everyday life, there are many moments when you need to express that something is improving, even if slowly. Instead of saying, "I'm getting better," you might say, "I'm slowly finding my footing," or "I'm beginning to feel more grounded as time goes on." Practice these with me. I'm slowly finding my footing. And I'm beginning to feel more grounded as time goes on. These expressions help you speak with emotional insight and patience. Let's practice expressing advanced agreement in a more meaningful way. Instead of saying "true," you can say, "There's definitely truth in that," or "I can absolutely see where you're coming from." Try these now. There's definitely truth in that. And I can absolutely see where you're coming from. These expressions sound natural and respectful, even in deeper conversations. Now imagine you want to express disappointment without sounding harsh. Instead of "I'm disappointed," you might say, "I was hoping for a more positive outcome," or "It wasn't quite what I had envisioned." Repeat these with me. I was hoping for a more positive outcome, and "It wasn't quite what I had envisioned." These sentences communicate the emotion gently and thoughtfully. In situations where you want to show understanding, advanced speakers use expressions full of empathy. Instead of "I understand," you could say, "I can see why you'd feel that way," or "That makes complete sense considering everything you've been dealing with." Try repeating them now. I can see why you'd feel that way. And that makes complete sense considering everything you've been dealing with. These expressions strengthen connection and trust in conversations. Now let's practice expressing gratitude or appreciation at a more advanced level. Instead of saying, "I appreciate it," you might say, "Your support has meant a great deal to me," or "Thank you for being so thoughtful. It truly made a difference." Practice them with me. Your support has meant a great deal to me. And thank you for being so thoughtful. It truly made a difference. These expressions make your gratitude sound sincere and heartfelt. Picture a moment when someone asks how you've been managing personally. Instead of replying, "I'm fine," you might say, "I'm taking things one step at a time," or "I'm finding ways to stay centered even when things feel uncertain." Repeat these expressions with me. I'm taking things one step at a time. And I'm finding ways to stay centered. These advanced phrases are calm, grounded, and emotionally aware. Another powerful skill in advanced English is expressing possibility or openness. Instead of saying "maybe," you can say, "I'm open to seeing where this leads," or "There's a good chance I'll explore that option." Practice these now. I'm open to seeing where this leads. And there's a good chance I'll explore that option. These sentences communicate flexibility in a confident way. Finally, to strengthen your advanced communication even further, let's practice a transformation exercise where you take simple sentences and repeat the advanced versions aloud. Instead of "I don't like it," say, "It doesn't really resonate with me." Instead of "I'm happy," say, "I'm genuinely pleased with how things are unfolding." Instead of "It's strange," say, "There's something unusual about it that I can't quite pinpoint." repeat them with me. It doesn't really resonate with me. And I'm genuinely pleased with how things are unfolding. And now, there's something unusual about it that I can't quite pinpoint. Speaking these out loud helps you internalize the rhythm and natural phrasing of advanced English. Take a moment now, breathe in slowly, and feel how different your English sounds compared to when you began. You're no longer using basic sentences or simple expressions. You're expressing subtle thoughts, layered emotions, reflective thinking, and meaningful reactions exactly the way advanced speakers do. And the more you keep practicing out loud, the more these expressions will become a natural part of your daily conversations. Keep speaking, keep repeating, and keep allowing yourself to grow into the advanced English speaker you're becoming. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope these advanced expressions helped you not only understand English more deeply, but also feel more confident using it in your daily conversations. Remember, the more you speak, repeat, and practice out loud, the more naturally these expressions will flow from you. Don't rush the process. Let the language settle into your mind little by little. And soon you'll notice how effortlessly you express your thoughts, emotions, and ideas. If you found today's lesson helpful, make sure you subscribe because we upload new English learning videos every single day to support your journey. And if you'd like more practice with advanced expressions, daily conversations, fluency techniques, or real-life English, you're always welcome here. Take a deep breath, feel proud of the progress you've made, and keep going. You're doing far better than you think. I'll see you in the next lesson.